Well, everybody, welcome to a Dirty Thursday. He drives the number 99 Buffalo Wild Wings NOSA Sprint Car, Jordan Graham, in the studio today. We'll be talking with him, thank you, in just a couple of minutes. By the way, our show today brought to you by Executive Properties. Are you still putting off that project around the house that's been bugging you forever? Do you think you can wait until spring and call a contractor and have the work done ASAP? Well, good luck with that. Executive Properties has openings right now to get that project done. In fact, you can check out their Google reviews. Aaron says Chris and his team did a spectacular job on the damage to my aunt's garage and siding. Kept us up to date on the progress, and the finished product was amazing. Thank you for your professionalism and hard work. Hey, get that project done sooner than later. Call Executive Properties, 701-330-1273. Hey, make sure you call Executive Properties, too, for all your snow removal. Look outside, folks. You knew it was coming. Well, here it is. 701-330-1273. Call them up, all right? Speaking of phone numbers, if you have any questions or comments for myself, for Chad Hoff, or Jordan Graham, our number here at the studios, 701-213-0863, 701-213-0863. Looky who just walked in the door. Other half of the Bullring boys. There he goes, blocking out my camera. All right, let's do it before we get going into the show. It is time for our daily segment called Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Here we go, Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. I'm going to do two jokes today because I know darn well Dale's going to hate the first one. So here we go. Why do they call it Mario Kart and not Mario Speedwagon? Oh, I didn't like that one. All right, Chad, you might like this one. Confucius say. Confucius say. Ordinary man give wife grand piano. Wise man give wife upright organ.
I like that one.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Let me get your mic on. How you doing now?
Am I there yet?
How about if I turn that one on?
Am I there yet?
Yeah,
Am I there yet?
There we go.
I'm doing great.
Figured it out? Yeah? Look at the jeepers. Look at how big that... Okay, there we go.
What?
Oh, he was zoomed up on... I almost saw a booger in your nose.
Wouldn't believe it. I was picking them before I got here.
Yeah, well, you didn't get it all. No, I'm just kidding.
Is it there still?
How you doing?
My wife says bats in the cave. I'm doing good.
Good.
Yeah.
Busy?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's snowing now, so
Yeah.
everybody's all of a sudden like, oh,
Well, that's all right.
it is winter.
And
Yeah.
we need snow because we are going to be at the Buzz Run Vintage Snowmobile
That's
Show
this
and Run.
weekend.
Yeah, Saturday, the Beehive in Reynolds.
Yeah.
Brought to you by the Beehive and the Valley Drift Riders. Like we have been since day one, Grand Forks Best Source. Jeez, I don't know what I'd do without him. Grand Forks Best Source. We're going to be there live probably about 11 o'clock or so Saturday. Man, I love it.
Is Dale going out there too?
No, he's going to be gone.
Yeah, I'll be out.
What?
Belated family Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got it. That's okay.
But the Loud Pipe Contest, they got Best Dressed, Furthest Traveled,
Yeah.
People's Choice, Mayor's Choice. And if there are any
There's
raffle
a mayor
tickets...
of Reynolds.
Yeah. I don't know who it is, but...
It's got to be an Adams. I'm just kidding.
Maybe. They got a 1968 Polaris Mustang 372 that they're raffling off.
Oh,
You can buy a
yeah, that's
raffle
right.
ticket.
That's
Yeah, you
sweet.
can see.
Can you see it over there? Yeah, right there.
Wait, well, one sec.
That's legit.
Looks more like a Charger there with the stretched out, but
Wow.
there you go. They got a couple of cash giveaways too, but check it out. It's this Thursday. Registration starts at 8:30, just $10 a sled. All right.
That was probably the top of the line back then.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
If you like Polarises.
Yeah. It's a beautiful machine, John.
It is. If you like Polaris. It is. Sorry about that.
No, you're not.
In fact, I had Jordan Graham and another guy on the show on Monday talking about the big Buzz Run. And
You mean Jordan Adams?
or Jordan Adams.
Jordan Graham's-
Jordan Graham's right here. Yeah. Give me one beer and see what happens.
Yeah.
And anyway, but they're Arctic Cat guys too. And you know what? It's because of where I'm from.
100% it is.
Sure.
And that's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
They lost to East Grand Forks, yeah.
Yeah, they got their ass handed to them by East Grand Forks.
Yeah.
And that's too bad because a
You're
very
calling-
good friend of mine is...
You guys sounded amazing, by the way.
well, thanks.
Yeah,
A rookie over there. He did a pretty good job.
He did a pretty good job, you know. not. You had a little stutter stop, but it's okay.
I was just doing it on the fly. I was trying my best. It was an experience. Thanks for
Did a
having me.
good job.
That was a blast.
Yeah, he did a good job. I got East Side again tomorrow night too.
It sounded great. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I saw the text and I
was
appreciate
watching it on Cano X. I turned Ryan Cunningham off and turned on 1400. Listened to you as I was watching. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's like what people do for UND Fighting Hawks hockey. You know, you listen to the radio, watch it on TV,
watch
listen
it on
to Hennessy
TV,
do
listen to
the
Timmy.
play-by-play. Yeah.
He does an awesome job too.
Chili Bowl going on right now as we speak. Well, today is part of it.
What, we're racing? What?
Yeah, I think Andy
weird.
Pake is down there.
He is.
I saw, and I thought he was supposed to race on Tuesday night, but I didn't
Sammy
see.
Swindell's racing in this.
Go figure. Oh, gee, go figure. You know who else is running? Young Money.
Oh, what? No.
Yeah, well, that's always one of those deals last minute, you know. Oh, by the way, Kyle Larson's going to be here. Anyway.
No, it's.
We should probably introduce this guy, I think.
Well, we probably should talk to him a little bit.
A little bit. Everybody drives the 99 Buffalo Wild Wings NOSA Sprint Car. There's Jordan Adams here. Or Jordan Adams.
Jesus Christmas.
Jordan Graham.
Dale, take the beer away from you.
Shit. No, it's
Just
Jordan Adams
it's a lot of Jordans.
take the name Jordan away
It's
from
a lot
me.
of Jordans.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's tough.
Yeah. How you doing, man?
Not too bad.
First timer here in the studio.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, we try to get through everybody. It's not easy.
No, it's not.
And I mean, the thing is you've been doing this for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I don't want to know anything about racing. I want to know about Jordan Graham and what you do, married, kids, family, job, all that kind of stuff.
I own a tile business here in Grand Forks for the last 6 years.
Okay.
I've been doing tile since I was 18, so about 18, 19 years. So, I mean, that's kind of what I do all the time. We're working on a big job just downtown here, the Beacon buildings where the
Sure. Yep.
townhouse used to be.
Yep.
So we got a lot of tile going in those right now. So we've been pretty busy the last couple months.
And how old are you right now?
38.
Okay, that's not a young man's job.
Oh, no.
And I'm sure you're finding it out at the young age of 38.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
do it
always-
while you can, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and you married?
Yep. Married.
And you
married,
have
4 kids.
Yeah, I know you had a big family.
Yep,
we do creep on people a little bit on social media to find out something about them. But tell us about your kids and wife and all that, if you would.
My wife, she's an accountant here in town for Happy Harry's.
Oh, okay.
And then 4 kids. My oldest is a boy, 12 years old, almost 13. And then 9 girl, 6 girl, and then my youngest is a 2-year-old little boy.
Okay. Wow. Was that one of those oopses? No, we don't call it an
We don't
oops.
call it oops, yeah, but it was definitely kind of
was a blessing.
COVID. It was a COVID blessing.
There, yeah. Just trying to keep warm, right?
Yeah.
A lot of bonding.
I don't call that social distancing, my friend.
Yeah, a lot of bonding.
Now, I want to get back to you've got one of your sons is racing.
Yep.
I know he's karts, but he is venturing into the lightning sprints now. Is that right?
Yep. Yeah, he's done lightning sprints for 2 years here now. Last year we had some problems at the end of the year. We blew up 2 motors in the
Yeah, I
last
saw you
4
were-
weeks of the year. So
Oh boy.
it was kind of just nonstop working on that thing. But this year we're probably going to do some of that, and we're building him a 305 car right now. So
Oh, you are.
yeah, so I mean we're kind of going to try to do that, but we're going to try to work it out. I'm getting another different trailer, so sometimes my dad will probably go with him.
Oh, sure,
And
sure.
maybe one other guy. And then I got one of my pit guys for the first 5-6 years that I raced. He moved to Williston,
Okay.
so he's moving back to town. So that'll be kind of nice that he'll be around to help with me a little bit. And then so we might be able to kind of he'll be able to race on some Friday nights when I still race here.
Okay, no, because we were looking at
That'd be big.
yeah, we were looking at your history, Jordan. And I mean, there were years you ran 30-some nights. There were years you ran 7 or 8 nights or 10 nights. But does that have something to do with it? Losing your help and your pit guys, or
Well, a little
I know,
bit,
and it's not easy when you got a big family too, traveling because you guys. It seems like the NOSA guys are traveling more and more all the time, but. Back and forth. The word has it there's going to be more local racing this year. I would imagine that makes a big difference for you.
Yeah. I mean, I like racing, and River Cities is a good track to race at.
Sure.
On the weekend. So I mean, and then some of the tracks. It just depends on. I actually don't mind driving to Houston some. It's a real nice track.
Sure it is.
So, but I mean, it is a little bit of a haul, but it's pretty sprint car-y.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, but Yeah, I mean, some of the local tracks too around here though, like Greenbush is usually decent. I know they just had a little turnover with who's running the track, and hopefully
Somebody hopefully picks it up.
Yeah, right now I don't think anybody has picked it up yet.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
nobody's said
I
anything,
heard there was some interest, but let's see.
You know, at least it gets me interested into it because, like you said, Greenbush is a good track. We don't want to lose something like that, especially in this area. But,
Absolutely.
So yeah, good for that.
And we race at Buffalo River some too and stuff.
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
nice. I think it's a little on the small side for big sprint cars.
Yep.
But I mean, my boy races there with his Lightning Sprint quite a bit. So
Sure,
I mean,
sure.
It's a good track for that. I mean, it's still fun with the 410, but it's a little bit tight.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to pass, especially if the track's not
Right.
pretty good, so you can get 2 lane on it.
Oh, for sure.
So, how did you get your start? We've been talking about karts and stuff, and a lot of the guys running sprint cars started in a kart. I don't know if you did, but I know your kid is. But is that how you got your interest and your start in racing? And did your dad have anything to do with it, or how did that all start for you?
I had to drag him into it kind of a little bit.
Yep.
He's always around race cars and stuff. I think he was just afraid of what would,
Yeah.
kind of happen after. You're never going to stop. And,
Yeah,
so,
well, it's a drug.
yeah, drug /
And not a very cheap drug.
hobby, yeah. So, I mean, and he's pretty into. I mean, he's been into it the whole time. He builds our motors and stuff.
Okay.
So I mean, I've always ran his motors.
Yep.
I mean, I help him and stuff, but I mean that he builds. And
Yeah. Do me a favor, slide this a little more in front of you there.
sorry.
There you go. Okay, so your dad, is he like a gearhead? Is he a wrench guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's built motors for a long time, so I mean.
How big is that
Well,
to be able to do that, to have your dad build your motors? Because now last year, for example, there were a couple of nights you were damn fast.
Yeah, the last couple of years we've had some good nights.
Yeah.
I know, really last year, just autonomy in the middle of the year, we blew up one motor, and then when we switched motors, and we had a couple other problems, just figuring it out. So
The bugs,
yeah,
yep.
and they're tough cars to figure out like that. You have to push start them.
Yeah.
We have an engine stand, but we don't have a dyno, so that's kind of you can't really heat them up and run them like you're going to run them in a car.
Right.
So then you get out there in a sprint car, and you always got to. And it just sucks. You do everything, and it turns into a trial and error kind of.
Sure.
A little bit.
Yeah.
When you don't have everything running right, which sucks. So sometimes you can get into a couple night funk, with not having stuff run right. In the middle of the year, we did kind of last year. We had a good start and kind of an all right end, but the middle was just changing motors 3.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah. Now, did you used to have a shop kind of over behind the Pepper?
Yep.
Okay, because I worked at iHeart for 21 years, and I would drive by, and I love just knocking on a door and, and kind of walking in, And I thought about doing that, but I didn't really know you, so I thought, gosh, I know he's back in that shop right there. You can see the cars there and all that.
Yeah.
And
We were probably drinking a beer, and that was a party shop. We were 22 years old. Me and my wife, we weren't even married yet.
oh boy,
Yeah.
That was just a party place.
Yeah.
We'd hit up the Pepper after. We'd be downtown. and
oh sure. I mean, now your wife, she knew what she was getting into.
Oh, yeah.
Before she married you, she got no problem. Is she a race wife? I mean, you could say yeah, but I mean, does she go to the track? Does she root you on? Does she scream at you? Does she tell you, you know what, you looked a little tight there at the beginning, or anything like that, or not that much yet?
I mean, she doesn't really judge. She doesn't get into kind of the car thing.
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
But she recognizes, I guess, when you have a good night.
Sure.
And she's into racing. We do a lot of race and stuff. So, and for Brody, she's a big screamer for him.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, she's a big.
Well, and that's good. Yeah, at least she knows kind of the repercussion too of the car and everything else. Do you see yourself slowing down even further when your son Brody gets older and going? Like you're 305. Do you see your 410 going into him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably 2-3 years, really.
Wow.
Right.
I mean, I think it's probably the right time to do it when you're 14, 15.
Yeah.
Will you step away then?
Yeah, probably. it's so tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends. If you really want to do it right, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and do
Yeah,
you
because
have,
money would get tight on that side of things. You
oh
got
God,
two cars. Oh my
trying to run
goodness.
two sprint cars?
Then it's more like 4 or 5 cars.
Well, yeah.
2 people. So
Right.
Sure.
it's just the whole thing kind of just so if you're gonna do it right, you probably should have 3 cars or something, but probably focus on just one person driving.
Right.
Taking care of everything and.
Now, I know you talking to Dale and stuff. I know your kid knows what Victory Lane is. Is at his age, is he better than you were? Is he? It sounds to me like he's got the mustard to keep moving up.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, honestly, but I mean, he has to keep a level head about, most of his stuff, which he usually does. He's a pretty calm, collective kind of kid. He's super smart in school, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that helps.
Yeah.
Believe me, it helps.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, for sure. Does he go in and tear into things with you and look at things and adjust and?
Not as much as he should.
Right.
I wish he would, or actually, At the same time, I was always more like mechanical,
Yeah.
and try to do, like, I set up my own car and I help my dad build my motors, and I think I do too much, really.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
When I do everything and then drive it, you have to be self-critical.
Sure you do.
Get out, and then it's tough sometimes to not, me too. I've been around racing for a long time, but like to look at a car, like when it's racing, like how if you're setting it up.
Nice to have another
Yeah,
set of
well,
eyes
see,
watching you.
When you're looking at it from the outside, it isn't necessarily how it feels from the inside.
Sure.
So that's always tough too.
Right. No, I see that. Yeah, that'd be a big difference.
How I struggled with the Jordan name earlier. I see I'm getting some texts. Nick Curtis, good job, John. Good God, John.
Yeah.
Is that the grinder reminder? Dave Rosenthal. Oh, boy, nothing better than working on sprint cars, drinking beer, and then grabbing a grinder.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I
and
know.
then the bathroom visit later.
Oh, that's like the best part.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah.
So you said you've been doing this a long time. I think we were looking back at 2005, probably.
I think that was
and I think you only ran like 3-4 nights that year, but you just kind of eased your way into it. But how did the whole sprint car thing? I want to know how this all started. You and your dad get together, or did you just say, you know what, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to grab my buddies, because a lot of the stories we hear, it's like, well, I actually bought a car and I was working on it for 6 months before anybody found out about it, like my mom or dad, things like that. How did it start for you?
Well, I don't know. I was racing go-karts, so that was all just, and I've always wanted to race kind of sprints. I guess I've been around them since I was younger. My dad worked on Pat Miller's car some and stuff when I was a kid, so I was always around sprints. And then a relative of mine, it's actually like a second cousin, Ronnie Grube, raced late models for a long time. So I was around both cars for a long time, and I guess, I was always kind of a fan of Troy Schill too, like when I was a kid.
Sure.
So like,
Right.
then as I've gotten older, we're buddies, and so I hang around a lot of sprint car, or all kinds of cars. But
Yep.
I like late models too. They're
Sure.
cool.
And, if you're like Chad and I, and I've said this before, I don't care. I could watch 3 kids race tricycles in a circle on their driveway. I'll probably stop and watch.
Hilarious. Yeah.
Just 'cause,
Yeah.
I like
Especially
to
when they have the
watch.
makeshift flags going and
Oh
stuff.
yeah. Oh yeah. You think street hockey or boot hockey's fun, man? I'll watch that stuff all day long.
I believe it.
How do you like the traveling that they've been doing now? More and more. I mean, granted, you're getting to see some really nice racetracks and nice facilities and stuff. You mentioned Huset's, but does it get tough on the pocketbook? Because, well, let's face it, the last couple of years, it doesn't matter what you do. It's tough on the pocketbook. You can haul your race car across town, and it's going to cost you a ton.
Yeah. I mean, any night you race the thing, I mean, if you're going to be competitive, it's probably going to cost you $1,500 a night or more.
Isn't that something?
So I mean, yeah, it's that's why running 2 cars is kind of the last even couple of years. My boy he wants to run go-karts. He wants to run lightning sprints.
Sure.
And I got my car. It's like a lot to deal with. So I would like him to actually just race one car, whether it was lightning sprints or 305s. But I mean, so I could just focus on at least one thing like that.
Right.
And will it be to that point in the next year or so, or you're going to have to say, look, dude.
Yeah, I mean, he knows
unless
that.
you go to work.
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's,
Kinda.
Yeah. I don't make him do it. Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't have to deal with that part of it. at
Right,
all.
right.
Which, and see, that's why as a kid, I always kind of had to do it myself a little bit, and then my dad would help me a little.
Right.
But I also think there's so much in racing that's so over, like, anybody that's under 25's head.
Yeah.
So, like, to think you're going to do it, and, like, if you're not going to have just a ton of money, kind of frankly, or somebody that's going to hand it over to you.
Right. Yep.
You got to figure it out somehow. So, I mean, you got to focus, I guess, on how, what you can afford and how you can do it the best.
Right. So if you look at when you get down the road here, you're like, okay, man, what you're going to be good at? Let's focus on that car. Like, so if you're going to go 305, if Dad can focus on just a 305 and my 410, we could probably be really competitive for your 305.
That's kind of what I think. More so than
Sure.
being so split between a bunch of different stuff the last couple of years. And
Right.
305 car is a lot like our big car.
Right.
It's just a little less power.
Sure.
So it's pretty simple in that sense for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those 305s, I mean, can your dad, does he build those motors too? Because it seems like everybody's
they're-
waiting on their 305s.
And they're fun to watch.
Oh, I like him. I do.
gosh. Yeah.
I think it's
There's
a great
little bit
class.
of a deal with getting them. They're called like a hard card. So
Yep.
like you got to bring them to their tech person.
Sure.
You can build them, and then they bring them there, and they'll give them a hard card. You know,
Okay.
after they tech it.
Making
Yeah.
sure
So-
everything's up to snuff
And then-
for them.
Yep. Same thing as like even a motor builder, if they're not. There's only a couple that are really certified, I think, to put
Sure.
a hard card on them.
Yeah.
I'm not positive about that, but
Okay.
so like, but I know they need that, for the tech. So then your tech person can kind of do that too, like the area tech person.
Yep.
So you bring the motor to them after you're done building it, and then they tech it, and then they give you the card.
Give you the card, then you're
All
ready
right.
to roll.
Who's Ronnie?
Ronnie.
Well, we got a text saying Ronnie is fun to BS with.
Oh, group.
I don't know.
you
Eric
go.
Rice is the one that's texting. Said Ronnie is fun to BS with.
Yeah, that was like my second cousin that I was talking about the race. late models.
okay, sure.
So yeah, he's like my mom's cousin, so it'd be like my second cousin. So,
Okay.
So yeah, he raced late models when I was a kid for a long time. So and then he's really into cars. He's got 10, 15 cars.
Oh, wow.
He always has a different car at the Prime Steel every year.
Oh, sure,
So
sure,
he's
okay.
big into car shows. He's
Yep.
won a bunch of car shows. He's got a couple.
Okay,
really cool cars.
probably knew my dad pretty good. Jody Borgen Danner is watching the show from down in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Memories with your family, awesome. Always have to have a backup. Amanda Jo Enright, awesome. To Jordan on the show today. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're trying to please you, everybody.
Trying to get around to everybody. It's tough to have. It's a lot of people in this area that we have.
I know, and then we do like track champions, and then we'll do like racer wives, and then you kind of
Yeah.
get caught out of the loop, and but
Then Snurdy Thursday happens when we have snow. And
yeah, snurdy. Yeah. In fact, they'll be starting Gerald Dillardall
This weekend.
Remoro races this weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they reach out to you?
No.
Oh, they were looking for an announcer. I know that.
Oh, not to me.
Okay.
No.
2023, 14 events, 2 top 5, 6 top 10s, only 14 events. You think you'll run any more next year, or you just kind of play it by ear and see what happens?
Kind of. Yeah, I mean, in the end, I think I'll probably still end up running probably 15 to 18 times. And then depending on what my boy runs. you
Right.
know. See, with him still racing, I mean, last year we still probably raced like 65 nights.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Between
Yeah.
go-karts, lightning sprints, and my car, so it was a lot.
That's a ton.
So I feel
Yeah.
even if we could do like 18 or 20 and even 15 or 20 for whatever he's going to race. I mean, we have his 305 there, and we just got a different motor, so we got to get that in there. But I've been kind of focusing on getting the 305 thing kind of ready.
Are you just kind of waiting to see when schedules come out, see how we're going to shape up? And
Kind of a little, because I know from what I heard, at our meeting, I've just been part of our meeting, and then Speaker is part of the 305, and
Yep.
he's in our
Yep.
group.
Yep.
He's a member of our board too. So
Sure.
he was there kind of. So it sounded like from the beginning parts that there was going to be maybe at least like 3 to 5 or maybe even 6. He said in the end nights where the 305 races
be here.
Yeah, here at the same time as the river.
see, I love that.
Yeah, and I like that, like all sprint car kind of.
Yeah,
night.
I love
I
that.
really like that.
Yep.
So that'll be kind of nice right there. That's 5-6 nights he could race it right there.
Right. And you guys are together that time.
Yep.
I mean, Friday nights at Red River Valley, that's tough. And then you obviously want to race here at home, and then you got 2. And you got to look back. It's so cool that we have just watch that. When I saw his lightning sprint come out, especially watching in Buffalo River,
Yeah.
that's pretty darn cool to have that, to have him the up and coming. That's what we work on. That's why we do these shows.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
To get those people, and so I think it's cool that he does that. And I think it'd be awesome to have you guys. Obviously money's a huge thing when you go to 2 410s.
Yeah.
And to have you guys racing together is always fun to watch. It would be fun.
Yeah.
Throw a couple hot laps out there with the 305 and Dad in the 410.
Oh, that'd be cool. Now, with the kid...
Give him a half lap start.
Is he using like a chassis from you, or did you guys
Yeah.
find something else,
No, I
or
mean,
what happened there?
I got enough stuff for him to
Sure.
be decent. I got 4 or 5 cars.
Okay.
So I mean, and 2 of them are new.
Right.
So I mean, I got my new cars for this year, and then my car that I had last year. I really like that car. I've had it the last 2 years. That's probably what I was gonna have him run for a 305 kind of, and then I have another older, all triple X. I've ran triple X chassis for 12 years.
Okay.
So I've had a lot of them.
Okay.
I have a couple in the bushes that are good. I've had a couple.
Couple of the bushes.
Oh yeah.
They're
Oh, you hear
stored
about
very
those.
well
Oh,
out
yeah.
back there.
Well, there's 2 up hanging from the top of my shop, and there's 4 down on the ground.
Oh, sure.
And
that's
there's a bunch
awesome.
of race cars around. But
Yeah.
You
So
must have a
plenty of
big
backups,
shop.
plenty of back, just in case something happens. You have.
frames,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sprint cars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you bend them up pretty easy if you get in a wreck.
Sure.
So
Sure.
depending on.
And sometimes those wrecks are unavoidable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so the car is part of like your roll cage, but it's also the car, and
Yeah.
that gets bent up pretty easy, and then you kind of just gotta usually run something else. Or
Sure.
sometimes you can fix it or something, but if it's something pretty small. But
Yeah. It's got to be nice to have that extra, just to have that extra car around, just that way you have, time crunch.
Oh, yeah. I
Because
don't have
your full-time job is pretty important too.
Yeah.
So you can always jump in the other
really
one.
more important.
Yeah.
Family life and racing. And that's how I kind of make it happen. But it's like in the winter, getting a couple, 3 cars ready.
Sure.
So then you have 2, 3 cars sitting there, and then when you get in a pinch or this or that, it's usually a lot easier to change something over in a night or something. I mean, when I was
Then bend a
younger-
frame
well,
back.
when I was younger, I remember a couple times when I only had 1 car, and I remember wrecking the whole car, and we'd have it ready again for like the next week, and I'd have 5, 6 friends that were pretty diehard, like that would spend.
Sure.
As long as you got beer,
Yeah,
they're there,
and
right?
I don't even know how we went to work, but we didn't barely sleep for like 4 days.
Oh,
right?
sure. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's stories we hear all the
yeah.
time.
What do you got?
Chad Swenson, lots of traveling with Jordan and Todd, moving back this summer. Can't wait for more racing with them. Eric Rice, what's the plan at River Cities Speedway sprints? Late rotation like last year. Amanda Joe replied, you'll see the sprints more at River Cities Speedway this year.
Yes.
Agreed to racing more than last season.
Yeah, we heard that last week at Dalmar.
Yep. And Jeff Cordles, Chewy, what's up? He's watching the show from down in southern Minnesota somewhere.
Yeah.
I tell you what, it is time for us to take a little bit of a break here. Dirty Thursday, Jordan Graham, the 99 Buffalo Wild Wings NOSA Sprint Car in the studio today. Life doesn't ever seem to slow down. Everything needs to be done fast, like yesterday. Same with oil changes. Don't you love waiting in line for 2-3 hours to get an oil change? Head to Valvoline Instant Oil Change. That's where I go. I'm usually in and out of there in 15-20 minutes max. They do more than that, too. They'll do tranny coolant flushes. They rotate tires. They'll do your battery thing. But when you get your oil changed, they're not just changing your oil. They're topping off your fluids. They check your tires, battery, lights, wipers, cabin air filter. If you have a fleet or if you're in the military, you're going to get a discount, and they can text and email invoices and coupons too. Now, here's the real cool thing. Mention Grand Forks Best Source, $10 taking off your oil change just like that. They're open Monday through Saturday, no appointment needed either. Pickup and deliveries available in Grand Forks. It's Valvoline Instant Oil Change for a complete oil change and more. They're at 3325 South 38th Street, or you can call them up too, 701-780-8462. But no matter what you do, make sure you tell them Grand Forks Best Source sent you. Hey, $10 is $10. That's a couple of beers at your favorite pub, right? There you go. Back on a Dirty Thursday, the Bullring Boys, along with Jordan Graham in the studio here. You ever had a bad wreck?
Oh yeah, a couple.
What was the worst one? And tell us a little bit about it.
Wow.
You just brought up bad memories, and it's like,
I know, but
a couple crushers, but well, I mean, honestly, that's part of being able to race them and keep racing them. I've seen a couple good racers actually getting fairly bad wrecks, but still walk away.
Oh, sure.
But
I mean, these cars
pretty
are
much-
getting safer and safer all the time.
But just be done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you go through
Oh, yeah.
a
It'll wake
ripper
you up.
a couple times. So I mean,
right.
I've torn my sternum with broken fingers and
Oh, yeah, I broke my sternum. That sucks.
compressed a couple bones in my
Yeah.
spine a couple times. So I mean, I've had back problems from it twice, so
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of a thing, here and there. And then with my work, I guess with your back and,
Oh, yeah.
and you're banging up your knees. And
Yep.
It's a thing, Yeah, you get pretty banged up in them sometimes.
Hey,
But
5 knee surgeries, 2 lower back surgeries, a
hold on,
neck
time out,
surgery, and
time out.
47 broken bones. What?
Time out.
I've been lucky to not have any surgeries.
He literally just went like this. 5 knee surgeries.
Yeah, Jesus. With four.
I didn't tell you about the brain surgeries.
Oh, sorry.
They all do it. Well, that's kind of a scare
5
too.
knee surgeries. 4
Yeah,
five.
yeah.
Once you start having surgeries too, it's like I don't know. Sometimes they don't always work, so then you have to have
Yeah.
more.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about
I've
John
been
about-
lucky. Like I know two of the guys I learned tile from. They've had like 3 or 4 back surgeries.
Oh, yeah. Usually, if they fix a disc, the one below it or above it's going to blow.
And then they re-hurt them both. So it's like this continuous thing kind of.
That's when you go from working full-time construction, part-time radio to full-time radio and no construction. That's what I did. Nick Curtis, thank you, by the way. Nick Curtis says he was at Valvoline yesterday, 15 minutes in and out of there. Man, Joe, fun watching Brody and Jordan racing each other in go-karts at the NOSA banquet at Northern Air. Brady wasn't letting Dad get off easy. Gosh, I wanted to go to that. I was there, but we had some stuff happen, and I couldn't stick around for the go-karts. But
you're being a good neighbor.
Yeah, for fun. Now
it was fun.
Yeah. It was. You know, and I was all signed up for it and everything, but
well, those things get you a little more banged up than you would. You think.
They do.
We drove them a bunch that night, but jeepers, the next day I was kind of like, I felt like I was in one of those wrecks.
The
next day.
I was
the last race too. My boy just pushed me around the track. I had a slow one. I swear. He was just beating me up.
That was the worst too, because you're like, I know I'm better than you. What's going on with my car? It's my car's fault, not the driver's fault.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's driver.
It's all driver, Dad.
I don't know if I'm better than him.
Yeah. I told Dobmeyer I wanted to trade paint with him. He said he was going to put me in the fence.
Yeah.
Said. But, you know, I did a simulator one time. It was a Formula One simulator, and it was an actual Formula One car that raced. But I'm kind of large for a Formula One car, because look at those Formula One drivers. The big ones are like 5'4", you know?
Yep.
20 minutes worth. I could barely fit in the thing. I mean, I hurt because my knees were damn near at my chin, but I was sweating like you would not believe.
You never told me this.
And this was on the 17th floor of the 16th floor of a cruise ship in Alaska, where it wasn't very warm out, and I was sweating my butt off. But God, was that fun.
How about the one at Dobmeyer's where you had a bruise after you were done?
Oh, that cushion at Knoxville, boy, that'll get you. That's
that cushion.
And he's got 2 seats you can put in it. And no, I don't need the fat guy seat.
Yeah,
I did, and I didn't. But it was funny because Paul, the producer's brother, who's actually smaller than I am, when he got out of the car, the seat was stuck to his ass.
Yeah, that reminds me of my dad once trying to race go-karts. I had to like pull him out of the thing. 2 people went out there. He did pretty good for like 5 laps. He started fogging up, and then he had to like race around with his one hand and the visor. And by the end, he was sweating. It was like 8 lap heat, you know. He lasted about 3 laps of just holding his breath. And then came up,
like, I'm gonna get you. You gotta get me out of here. Oh crap.
Yeah, and it took 2 of us to pull him out.
Oh boy. Hey, Stephen Lewis says not all surgeries are additions, Chad.
Yeah. Thanks.
I've had reductions before. Summer and I were definitely cheering for Brody to beat Dad.
You've had reductions.
I had 2. The first one didn't take.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that.
Oh boy.
You guys.
Are you a NASCAR fan?
Yeah, we go to a couple NASCAR races a year.
Because and that is kind of rare. Not a lot of dirt track guys are NASCAR. You know, you hear them, the NAPCAR thing, blah, blah, blah.
That's an amazing sport.
Yeah, I was a huge NASCAR fan, Dale Earnhardt fan.
Yeah.
And
Even
when
as
he
a
got
kid,
killed,
I was, too.
Yeah. But it was different back then. The racing was different. You know, these damn restrictor plates and all that. If they would have just came up with the roof flap, we'd be going 140 miles or 240 miles an hour around Daytona and Talladega. But, you know, so many people are, dirt's for racing, asphalt's for getting there. On my bucket list has been the Daytona 500 for years. I got to go to it 2 years ago. I'm so glad I did. Now I'm thinking about Talladega because it's only a couple hours away from my sister's house. But
my uncle just went there a couple months ago.
Oh, yeah?
Fall race. Yeah, he took a camper down from here.
Oh, wow.
From here, yeah. And I had a chance to go. I was just too busy at work. But,
Yeah.
yeah, we go a couple times a year. We go to the Daytona 500 every February for like the last 12 years.
Really?
Oh, yeah, every year. And then we go to, I've been to probably 6 or 7 Kansas races, Bristol. Races.
When you're in
Kansas
Daytona,
pretty
where do you
close.
stay?
In Kansas?
Yeah, in Daytona.
Oh, in
Just
Daytona?
right in Daytona? Or?
Yeah, well, we go there every spring, so I rent a house.
Oh.
So it's like an Airbnb. It's
nice.
It's real slick. And
Nice.
We got a house there every spring for like 10 days.
So if I go to Daytona again, I got a place to stay?
Yeah, if you want to come over. We got a pool and stuff. The kids are a wreck, but I mean, we have family there and stuff.
Oh, for nice.
I have an aunt that lives down in Tampa Bay. She usually comes to the area.
Yeah, I got an aunt in Tampa Bay and a bunch of cousins down there, too. In fact, my son now has, he's got a timeshare right outside of Daytona now.
Okay.
My aunt and uncle gave it to him. Doug Kaufman, 99. Jordan Graham, hell yes, with a thumb up. How about that? Thanks for
Dougie.
tuning in, you guys. Also, creeping you a little bit. Not only are you an NASCAR fan, but you do a little fishing now and then too. I thought it looked like you were a fisherman of some sort.
Well, a buddy of mine's a fishing guide up at Lake of the Woods.
Oh, that helps.
I love fishing. I don't have as much time with racing.
Sure.
To do it as much as, we used to get out ice fishing even more. But
Yeah, see, I don't ever get to ice fish either. And now
fun.
this year's been tough. I go out every February. I go to Lake of the Woods on a trip with 3 other guys, and we have a great time
That would
over
be fun.
President's Weekend, But it's always a good time. Ice fishing or summer fishing, I suppose, does it matter to you? Fishing's fishing?
yeah, the older I get, the more it makes sense to fish when it's nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've lost my ambition a little bit. The older I get to go out in the cold.
Oh,
and
tell
then,
me
like,
about
ice
it.
fishing.
I don't even like walking to my damn truck when we get
Some
out
of
of
the
here.
houses people have nowadays are like,
Oh, well, when you can take your fish house, you can take your
Bathrooms.
fish house to a
Yes.
campground
Yeah.
and
And they're
stay in it
fifth
for
wheels.
a camper. Yeah.
and shower and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So there's and they have satellite TV. And,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So you're just hanging out.
There's just something about being on ice just doesn't.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
Well,
sit
this year
well.
hasn't been a good year.
No.
No.
I got a buddy that's got a castle, and he spends, I don't know if he's doing it anymore now, but he used to spend almost a month at a time up at Lake of the Woods.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, I got to go into town once every 4 or 5 days just to go into town.
Yeah.
You don't really
Right.
need to. Maybe stock up on beer.
Well, that's true. I think, and then you look at temperature-wise this week here. You'll add a lot of ice with that temperature
Yeah.
coming. So
Nothing gets much. It doesn't get any better than walleye fishing on Lake of the Woods.
Oh, no.
I
No,
have
it doesn't.
A couple family members that have places at Northwest Angle, and then a couple of friends that guide up there. So
Sure.
Yeah, it's
Can't beat it.
it's a
That's a good
great
time.
fishing time. Yeah. If I had more time in the summer, I would.
Yeah. Oh,
Fish a
for
little
sure.
bit
Yeah,
more.
for sure. Yeah.
I wonder why your schedule's so busy.
Racing.
You must have a ginormous garage or shop.
I have both.
Oh, you have
And
both?
I need something different that's even at one place. But,
Really?
It,
So is your race shop at home, or is that somewhere else?
no,
Or
my race shop's at my workshop.
Okay.
Well, it's a little bit everywhere.
Sure. Well,
So we do motor stuff out there and at my dad's. And then at my house, all my boys' go-kart stuff is at my house.
okay.
Because there's just too much of it for my shop. I probably need to get a different shop. It's
Okay.
bigger.
How about this for a question? Is your wife allowed to park in the garage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I always have to sacrifice that. I just got a new project pickup. I have too many things going on as it is, but from a buddy of mine from Troy Shill.
Oh, sure.
So
Yeah.
I just bought it's a 1970 GMC pickup.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, square body.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I'm going to fix her up a little. And it's actually going to get, in the end, it's going to get lowered down a little. It's got an LS engine in it already.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
it's going to have a turbo on it when it's done, and it's going to be kind of neat.
Jeez. Yeah.
Kind of
No
like
kidding.
a little bit of a show truck.
Yeah.
Race
Oh,
truck.
wow. We got a question going back to NASCAR. Stage racing, yay or nay? I know a lot of people can't stand it. I don't mind it.
I don't mind it.
I don't
But-
mind it.
I don't
And as
mind
a spectator, if you go to more races,
Yeah.
it gives you a chance to get up.
Sure.
It gives like a schedule. No, honestly,
It
does.
When you're
It's
there
like a
at the
bathroom
race.
break or something. Yeah.
Bathroom. It is. And
Yeah.
it's like to go get a beer or
Yeah, and I don't
that's
mind the
so
points because look at the years past. You'd see guys that they're probably going to win the championship and they just sandbag.
Yep.
They just sandbag and lay back. They don't want to get in any trouble or anything. So
I mean, there's a couple different parts of it though. Like the stage part of it is a little even different than like the way that they're on the 16
The
point
playoff
deal,
points,
playoff
yeah.
points, because that's two different things. Kind of like every race has got the stages,
Right.
which I like, but sometimes it's bad to see some people that have a really good 3/4 of a year.
yeah,
And if you don't do good in like those 3-4 races at the start of the chase,
Yeah.
you're out of it.
Yeah.
And like on a normal year, they would win.
Right.
So
Right.
I don't know.
That's the
It's
different
kinda-
part there.
Yeah.
But
I don't
it's
really-
good or bad. I mean, they're
Yeah.
trying to do something different with the sport, and I think you're putting more strategy things into it now, where you want to pit, and if you want, you know what I mean, you want a short pit beforehand. It's
And on a spectator thing, it probably makes it a little more week to week exciting.
right.
Sure.
And I
Because
guarantee.
and you're going to sell more beer too,
Well,
like you
that's
said,
what
with
I
more
said.
breaks.
Have more of a chance.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're gonna guarantee more income for that race that day. Like you said, it gives you a chance to go to the bathroom. When you go to the bathroom, you're gonna walk by how many beer stands.
Yeah.
You're gonna get a beer.
Yeah.
You're gonna get food.
Well,
or,
that's all part of it. I mean,
You know what I
make
mean?
It like all work.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And I don't know how we got on the NASCAR thing. Now I should have kept my mouth shut, but I do want to add one more thing and ask one more question. What do you think about the single lug nut now on NASCAR? I liked.
Me and my boy argue
old
about
school.
it, but he's big into every type of racing.
Yep.
NASCAR.
Yeah.
His big new thing the last couple of years, he was begging me to go to the Vegas Formula One race.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I looked up tickets and it was just
Oh, I couldn't imagine.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, how about the Chicago one going to be for NASCAR this year?
Well, we looked at going to that last year. That's not actually that expensive, really, but it's Chicago's quite the mess. Like getting down.
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
I spent a week there
I've
at
been
a
there a
hockey
couple
tournament
times.
one time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take the D train one time, and you'll see what the bad part of Chicago looks like. Because
Aye.
those trains go behind the buildings.
Yeah.
Where the
cheapest-
garbage
The
is.
cheapest ticket I could find for the Formula One race was $1,600 a ticket.
Oh my goodness.
It was
Holy
crazy.
cow.
It was crazy.
Wow. And then you go to Vegas, and
yeah.
that's a whole other ball game there, too.
But Vegas really isn't that bad for that because there's tons of motels.
Sure.
Well, yeah, but then they're racing at night too.
Well, that's kind of neat though.
It is,
all
I guess.
about-
You know,
Oh,
it
yeah.
never
It was
sleeps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That track. That's the only way to do it in Vegas. If you're gonna have a racer, it should be at night. Down,
Sure.
Down the strip.
Right.
It was
For sure.
cool. It was pretty cool.
And make sure your manhole covers are all down very tight.
So one lug nut or two or five, John?
I prefer the old way, 5.
you?
I think it brings more to the pits or to the pit stops.
Yep.
I think it puts more in your crew. I like it. I mean,
do I, Kevin.
yeah. I mean, you watch Formula One, they come in and it's just boop, boop. They're in and out of there in like 4 seconds. Come on, let's see some guys have some skill.
Yeah.
Do some stuff like these tire carriers and
still
the
messing
tire
up.
changers. And
I was just gonna say
exactly.
they're
They're still messing
At
up.
first they said it was for like safety, but you see less loose tires in Formula One.
Yeah.
But then the NASCAR people haven't been able to like kind of adjust to
You
that
still have loose
because they
tires.
still have tires flying off. And
Yeah.
I think it's actually there's more actually.
Yep.
There is.
Yeah.
So and then because they had 5 lugs before, as long as you still have the rule, because they were starting to get down where they would like on purpose back just 10 years ago.
Yep.
They'd only put 3 on.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you'd have one loosen up, and then you'd have a wobbly rim.
Yeah,
or something.
depending on the track.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but like then they got down to having a penalty for having if you came in with you had to have I think
All 5. Or else you had
I
to
think-
start at the back of the pack.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think I think at the finish of the race I thought you could
Was it 4?
I think you could have one missing.
Yeah.
I think back in the day, I think you could.
Yeah. And then otherwise you got penalized a couple positions.
But now when its wheel falls off, the crew chief gets
for
suspended.
4
Yeah.
weeks and $50,000. Although when you look at some of their fines, it makes you work in that field because
Yeah.
if you get a fine for 1 week for $50,000,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean
Yeah.
for doing a oopsie,
And it doesn't seem to it doesn't seem to bother him too much.
Yeah.
you're obviously getting paid like
Yeah.
$300-400 a year.
Well,
or
I guess. All right, I'll donate this. Yeah, you betcha.
Travis Strandell says, Graham Cracker. Another question. Any notable differences switching over from karts to sprints for your son compared to when you did? Good question.
Dale, that's another good question, Dale.
I can't. Somebody moved my monitor. I keep
from switching over between
the difference from
Yeah,
going
so
from
when you-
karts to sprints.
When
was,
you switch from karts to sprints, from now when you look at your son switching over from karts to sprints, is there a big difference now compared to years from you did it to he?
Oh, I don't think so. No.
Yeah.
Carts don't really. They haven't changed a whole lot. Their lap times are a teeny bit faster, but
Right.
not a whole lot. So they haven't. I don't think changed a whole lot.
And I think motor-wise too, I don't think it's going to be much of a difference. Really, from back then to now, they haven't changed much in a kart, have they?
Well, when I first started racing, yeah, we ran flathead engines.
Okay.
Like Briggs 5-horse like flatheads that were kind of like
Right.
kind of. They were, just like now, they're made for kind of like racing, but the animals are a better motor.
Oh,
that they
God,
run
yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're probably a little better nowadays than they were back then. for
Right.
sure.
So
like
that-
like everything over time.
Technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything-
When
everything
I
that
first
grabs.
started racing sprint cars, like like a Dash 11 or 12
Right.
Chevy engine was pretty good 20 years ago,
Yeah.
and that's old technology now.
Right. Well, ain't no different than anything else we do. Like, you
Yeah.
even look at your tile business, everything's probably,
Yeah.
even from tools.
Tools and cutters and saws.
Everything's
get bigger
gotten-
and bigger and bigger. Really.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Everything's getting bigger. So I think, the only thing that's changed then probably, because, your setup's probably around about the same, but your motor is going to be the technology side of things that's going to be different.
Yeah, and I think too, it depends on what. I mean, I've raced for a long time, so like
Sure.
I've had other people help set up my car, where I've had a couple decent years, and then doing it myself,
Yep.
where it's kind of tough. My dad doing it, and then sometimes me and my dad argue about that. So the last couple of years.
that's normal though.
Oh yeah, I mean, and we actually a lot of people would say because they've plenty of people that I race with, they've seen us argue on this or that, but. I mean, and it's all like really. We could walk away and we walk away from the race. We'll be in a heated argument, and we're going to get like the truck stop after the races, you know. So
Yeah.
there's no like bad, you know.
No, you're just competitive.
Yeah,
That's
we
it.
get in arguments, and he's so set, you know, in some of his things that.
Yeah.
At least you're not like the Bergs and taking a swing at each other, or has that happened? Speaking of Berg, Jason Berg says good morning.
Yeah.
Close.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. Bill Nisbet wants to know, what would you like to see to help lower costs of racing? Good question.
That's another good
I mean, where do you start?
Holy crap.
Yeah.
I was just in meetings until yesterday about cost savings.
Cut advertising. That's what they
Holy-
tell you, right?
Well, we did all that too, but yeah, there are a lot of
You can
differences.
do some of that, but it's not necessarily. Yeah, I mean, it's who knows. There's a lot of ways you could try right now.
I mean, tire costs.
Tire costs are always something. I just don't know how we're gonna really get away from a lot of the. I mean,
Well, at least fuel's going back
yeah,
down a little bit
you
again.
just never,
Yeah,
which
that's true.
And that's all. They're made with, you know, they're from oil, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has something to do with price of
Sure,
tires. but I
petroleum,
don't-
yeah.
But I don't think they're gonna come down too much.
No.
They always, you know, the last 2 years it's jumped a bunch.
Right.
3 years really. So they've gone from, you know, 200 to like pretty much 300 a tire
Yeah.
in 3 years.
Yeah.
They jumped like 50 and then another 50.
And,
like,
and
2 years later.
you know it's bad when you've got, I mean, let's face it, there's race teams that can go through tires like nothing, like, you know, like it's a can of pop.
Right.
But you know it's getting bad when the guys that can afford it are still complaining because they want to see the guys that are having a harder time affording it. They want them to be, they don't want them to go away.
Right.
This is, all the good racers, you guys all think about this is a show. We're putting on a show, but yeah, we're trying to win some money and have some fun doing it. But
Right.
it's to the point where if these guys keep dropping out because they can't afford to do it, well, then what show is there? You know, there isn't one. And
That's true.
You know, I've heard Mark Dobmeyer, who's got he's got a pretty big checkbook, and he said, you know what, this is ridiculous. These guys can't afford it. A lot of these guys can't afford this stuff. And, you know, just because there's a few teams that can, it's too bad. You know, if they can make a different tire or a different rule. But now with the 305s,
Motors get pretty expensive too. So a
Well,
305
yeah.
I was just gonna say a 305 thing. That's part of what I was, you know, for my boy.
Yep.
Because I'm gonna build him 2 motors, and honestly, that'll probably get you by pretty good for
It
quite a
should.
while. Yeah,
It
and even
should.
if you have some motor problems, you can put 45 nights on them.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Right.
40 nights on them. So
Yep.
you know, it's different in a 410. You about 14 nights.
right.
And then you got to tear it down, rebuild everything.
Yeah, and what's a refresh on a 410? 20
well,
grand?
Well, probably like 15 to 20. Well,
Yeah.
if it's
Oh,
blowing.
if it's blowing, you're
yeah.
talking. Yeah, I'm just
probably
talking to
20.
freshen up.
Yeah.
Oh, that scares the crap out of me.
Well, you're talking about a $60,000 motor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I blew one up last year. It had 40 laps on it.
Oh my goodness. So do you send a Christmas card to the engine builder? Or wait, was that your dad?
My dad.
Okay.
Yeah, I just didn't love life. Didn't love it. It was hard to get along with him for a week or two, but you know, honestly, in the end, it's just
It happens.
Silly things happen, and then
Oh, that's for
really
sure.
what it was too. Is like a little filter deal, and it was probably actually part my fault too.
'Kay.
You know, so like putting them together, I always
About an $8 part?
no, not even. Well, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
Kind of. It wasn't even an $8 part. It was probably using a little bit too much. We have these filters that go from our oil pan into our, that go up to our. Well, it's supposed to. It clogged up because like when we were putting it together, it was fresh. It was running great too when it ran, but it started to slowly I saw my oil pressure kind of bobbing, so I was like, and then I pulled off. So I pulled off right before it actually came apart. But,
Oh,
like,
boy.
I actually unscrewed 2 of the rods by hand.
Oh,
with the rod
jeez.
bolt.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
if it would have ran for another like 3 seconds, it would have been apart.
It would have blown.
Exploded.
Yeah.
I could smell metal, so that was one of the things I've raced
Oh,
for a
yeah.
long time. And when
Yeah.
you start to sell kind of burning metal, that's
It's time to go. Yeah.
yeah, it's time you either put it to the floor or pull off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Jordan, saying you know how much you like NASCAR and stuff. Have you ever thought about any other racing besides dirt? I mean, if they had asphalt racing around here, say we lived closer to the cities, the Elko Speedways or whatever, would you ever have jumped into
Well, I mean, it's
asphalt?
cool, but it's a whole nother kind of
Yeah.
thing. I mean, I don't know. I've mainly been dirt, really. I mean, I like asphalt. My boy has some aspirations at some point, I think, of trying to like race some asphalt, but you got to be down south a lot.
Oh yeah, you do.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just not around here.
Yeah.
So all the
No.
tracks and all the people that know anything about it and all the sponsors, a lot of the
They're-
stuff, it's
yep.
all down south.
Yep.
So like if you're doing asphalt, you got to go down there or live down there or travel a lot.
Yeah.
And that's a whole thing too.
Yeah.
But you know, there's maybe, you know, at some point, if he wants to try a couple things or something, or you see a lot of people try to get into like trucks or something.
Sure, and you can always buy a ride, which happens.
I love
especially
that,
talking
'cause-
about Chili Bowl.
Well, yeah. I love
Go
that
to
'cause
Keith Kuntz, and if you got 10 grand, you can race on his cars. And
Right.
Right.
He's got
40 of them. Yeah.
14 cars there this year.
I think it's awesome because you're not trying to push his kid. You're not trying to push Brody or anything, but he's like, I'm going to support you. You can hear it in his voice.
Right, sure.
Whatever, if you want to do something, man, let's do it. That's cool.
I mean, look at Amber. Amber Balkan. She
Amber
announced yesterday or the day before
She has a
a new
full-time
deal
ride.
with ARCA, Venturini Racing, I believe.
Yep.
And she got her sponsor lined up, but she started in a lightning sprint.
Oh, yeah.
And worked her way up into that. The kid. One day you'll probably just set everything aside. Are you going to be like his team manager, wrench, blah, blah, blah? You and your dad kind of just go on the road with the kid, or you're not even thinking about that? Because how old are you? You're still young.
38. He told you that.
38. Well, I'm the 80s
Sorry.
again.
No, sorry. I was going to say that,
Jeez,
but
I
you
can't
did-
remember his damn name at the beginning of the show, and you're worried. I go, he said 38. You don't remember? Of course I don't.
Sorry, John's had 4 knee surgery or 5 knee surgeries.
But I mean, he's not my only kid either, so I have
Right.
to.
And are they into the racing? The other kids?
They're all supportive, but the littlest one, who knows, but he's another little boy. He seems to kind of like it as much as a almost 3-year-old, 2.5-year-old can.
Yeah.
I mean, he likes to sit in the cars and sit in his brother's car.
Oh, yeah,
He's
yeah.
pretty into it, so I can't imagine him not.
And they
liking
look up to Big Brother.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
gosh, yeah.
are they into sports or anything like that? Because some
my
kids
daughter-
are, some aren't.
Yep. My boy plays football too, so he's pretty big into that. He loves football. And so that's, and a little baseball in the summer, so that he has
Sure.
to kind of shed that. And in the next couple of years, he's probably going to have to decide, really.
Right, yeah.
Because you can't really start getting into traveling baseball, and then
Oh, yeah.
and then we're traveling racing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like you got to do one or the other. and-
Traveling baseball, that's a commitment,
Yeah.
man. That's a
It
commitment.
sure is.
Yeah.
So is racing, so it's super expensive.
they
and
both are.
100, yeah.
So you don't
Yep.
want to get a car ready and then be
And
like,
then
well, I don't
sit
want to
there.
race one night this week because I want to play, and then
Yeah.
and I get it too. 'cause-
Sure, Right. sure.
So you got to kind of decide what you want to do on that kind of level. Of
Yeah.
things, but-
That's why I kind of like the car just being black.
yeah.
You don't feel like you have an obligation to be out there and do it. You can have your family time
Oh, yeah.
and do your
Yeah.
thing. And
Yeah, I mean, I have my business on there, but I
Well,
mean,
sure.
it's why not? But I mean, I do. That's part of the reason I haven't really tried to get too many sponsors the last couple of years. Just because I'm not really positive what shows I'm going to make it to necessarily.
And we
or
hear
what I'm
that a
gonna
lot,
stand for.
yeah.
So then, like most of the Grand Forks ones usually, but I
Right.
mean, like whether or not I have to base a lot of stuff the last 3 years on what he's going to do too.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So
For sure.
it's even tough for me traveling. That's part of the reason why I only went to 14 of my shows this year, just because we raced so many times
Sure.
on Sundays and Saturdays with his lightning sprint.
Yep.
yeah.
So
And-
it's
and-
kind of like what you're going to pick and do. And
Yeah.
And you know what? That's
I agree with
it's just
that.
he's not answering as a race car driver. He's answering as a dad.
Dad.
And,
100%.
and
That's why it's
that's
awesome.
yeah, and that's him and I are all about that. Believe me. But
Yeah.
you wait because and it's what I keep telling him. My
Oh.
kid. Well, he's 37 now, and I have 2 grandkids.
Yeah.
So I can remember like it was yesterday. Well, I went all over the country for baseball with him, and he's still in the baseball business today at 37. That's what he does. But yeah, you got to enjoy it while you can, because I used to tell him, before you know it, they're going to be gone. But before you know it, your kids are going to be sick of you.
Yeah.
So enjoy it while you can,
And that's
because
already
they're going to
getting
do
to be
that.
like
When we as I say, travel baseball, he does that all the summer. So I'm gone a lot. So thank goodness for Dale to be around, because he helps us out a ton. But that's a whole nother travel schedule, And you're right. Like he races Saturdays, Sundays, and if you're gonna do, you gotta just kind of figure out what you want to do, because
last couple of years too, with like racing on Wednesdays too and stuff like
that's where league games are.
Yeah, and then
Yep.
it's right in the middle of the week, and it makes us the middle of the week is so busy and it's just tough. So that's why I want the racing to kind of be on the weekends if we're going to do it.
Yeah.
not on the
Yeah.
weekends.
Yeah.
I know I'm part of the Red River Valley Catfish League, and we fish on Wednesday nights. And I mean, we have like 30 boats a night. It's pretty cool. But over the years, I've been doing this for a long time. It's always, you're doing it. Okay, my kid is 3 now, and pretty soon he's 5 now. And then it's like, pretty soon you're not going to be here on Wednesdays anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, no way. I'll keep fishing forever. Then it's like, well, they play baseball on Wednesdays, or they race BMX bikes on Wednesdays,
Right.
and we lose a lot of members
Or
that way.
go-karts on Wednesdays.
Yeah, or go-karts,
Yeah.
but you have to do it. That's
Yes.
what you do. If your kid wants to do it, you got to, be behind them 150%.
Yep.
And have fun, because it's also a good way to relive your youth. That's what I did,
Yeah.
except my kid was a way better baseball player than I ever thought about. I was
Right.
afraid of a curveball, so I sucked. I give him a run
it.
for the money on
I
the
love his
hockey
honesty.
thing, though. But, and so you have to enjoy it while you can. Are you wrenching on cars all winter long? Are you guys ready to go for next year, or will you never be ready for next year?
I'll never be ready, probably as long as both of us are racing. I mean, it's constantly. I'm getting the car ready for him right now, finishing up my new car, and then we still got to change a motor on his Lightning Sprint. We're in the middle of building, because we build our own motors. So we're in the middle of building 2 motors right now that are, some parts are still away, some parts are on the way back. So we haven't really started putting them back together yet. So we still have a lot of stuff to do. Before spring.
You know,
I've been thinking about getting a different tow rig too, like a different semi. So it's just I got a bunch of stuff to do this spring.
Well, it sounds like your business is going well anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm busy. But
and you know,
He's got to fit that in and also build all these cars.
Right. And I wanted to apologize to you too, Jordan, because for how long I've been at this racetrack, I don't know if I've ever sat down and had 3 words with you. I know we've waved at each other and done a little bit of this and going back. I mean, normally I get about 15 minutes in the pits before the races. Normally I'm on a mission to do something. I'll stop and talk to a couple people if they flag me down. But this is something I've been looking forward to for a long time because it's so much easier to be screaming about a guy on a microphone when you know a little bit about him.
Yeah.
And
more than just the race part.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're slowly getting through as many people as we can. You know, it's just not all about winning and all about that championships and all that crap. That's why we bring the women in, and that's why we bring flagmen and rescue people and concession stand workers and track builders and all of that kind of stuff, because there's so much more to racing than just rooting for the 99.
And that's easier because you look back at what he has to do. He's got a full-time job, plus his son's getting big into racing. So now we know the backstory of, like, he works his ass off. You know? So
it's like you should be a zombie by today.
I am. I feel just wore down, especially this time of the winter. It's so cold out, and trying to get stuff done, and then it's just like, oh, God.
I'm with you.
In the winter, are you the kind of guy then that just likes to hunker down in the shop?
A little bit,
yeah.
And then I mean that's why it would be nice if I had my race shop at home, so I could do a little more of that too. But
right.
It's nice to get some time. I definitely spend a little extra time, more definitely than I ever can in the summer around home in the winter. But my girls are big into gymnastics and dance, so
and
they
boy,
like
that stuff is
there's
beautiful.
Is it kind of good season for it right now because it's not during racing? So I get to try.
I know a lot of I know a lot of dance parents, and boy, those people are running around a lot too.
That's a lot of the traveling thing that you do quite a bit of. I mean, that's as
they get older, some of that's it's just like in Colorado and Minneapolis every other weekend. It's,
I got friends that are going to be they're in cheer, and they're going to be in Indianapolis and then in Florida, and I'm like, holy cow!
Yeah, they take lots of trips.
Like, whoo.
And speaking of that, I do want to bring this up when we talk about dance and stuff. There's a benefit coming up. I don't know, maybe you know this guy, Lucas Schaefer. He was hurt very, very bad. He's Schaefer Construction, got a construction company.
You want me to put it in front of the camera?
My neighbor, thanks.
I think I can cue it up and pull it up on screen here in just a minute.
Okay, my neighbor actually works for him. It's his brother-in-law. He's not doing well. He's paralyzed right now, basically from, they say, the nipples down. They are transferring him to Craig, Colorado today to a rehab hospital. He needs a lot of help and a lot of prayers and a lot of hope. And so there's a fundraiser coming up in next month on the 15th.
Thursday, February 15th. Yep.
So that's something to think about. And you know, you ever think about that, Jordan? All of a sudden, you know, he's got 5 kids. He's got a booming business, and all of a sudden it's all, you know. So, but anyway, I just had to bring that up because the daughter is in dance. The mom, now this rehab hospital, his wife was supposed to be going with. Because it's not just a rehab for the injured person; it's a rehab for the people that take care of him.
Oh,
they
so
have to learn this. Yeah, Jeremy Kwame went to the same hospital, and he still goes back every year. I talked to him about it, but well, she's not going now. His sister went with today for the flight because there's a dance competition this weekend, and then there's
she's in cheer.
Yeah,
she's in cheer. So there's a cheer competition in Fargo.
Yeah, that's right. And then there's another one in Iowa, I think, next week. But so I wanted to get that in there. Who helps? We've talked about your dad before. We're pushing an hour here now, but okay, let's see there. Back up. There. That's
better. Dale's working on it.
I'll have it in like 1 minute.
Dale will have it in a minute.
That's pretty good.
You mentioned your dad as an engine builder, and you got a guy moving back, you said, but who helps you with the car?
My buddy Joey Davidson, he's always helped me with it too, and Willie Gardner. he's around quite a bit. So I mean, those guys, pretty much it. You know, and
Do you got the wife trained to do any of this stuff?
not really. She does. She helps support. And
She's the
hang out.
backside.
Yeah, I mean
support.
that it doesn't matter how
She
they
likes
support
it.
you as long as they do,
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I mean, she doesn't mind that I race and stuff. So whatever. She doesn't really get down into working on the cars. But
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't mind that really too. Sometimes.
Sure.
She stays out of that part of it, so she just looks back. And
Yeah.
Sometimes.
You talk about baseball traveling. You know, we used to see Greg Nikotenko up here quite a bit and racing with us. His son is a great baseball player. I've watched him play. He's watching now. He's slowed down with that too. So yeah, he's got a great support there. All these guys watching. We had like 40 some people watching us today so far. So it's been a great show.
Well, at least the ones that are texting, yeah.
Well, yeah, it's been
Okay.
awesome with that. So
I've
that's
known
cool.
Greg forever. He's one of those racers I grew up even watching before I started racing.
Right, and his
you know?
dad.
Yeah.
His dad too. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer right there at the
Yeah.
at the
Who,
River Cities
who were
Speedway.
some of the people you grew up watching that you would think to yourself, I want to be like him when I grow up?
Well, I mean, Wade probably.
Yeah,
When I was pretty young, he was young and.
He's not watching,
He
so
was
thank
fast.
God. Otherwise, his head's
Yeah, his head would get big. Kinda. He would get big, probably.
His
yeah.
wife's probably
I know,
watching,
I
though.
know, yeah, good. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I used to hang around him quite a bit in the pits. You know, when I was a kid, and I hung around there sometimes. I was only like probably 10, 11, 12 years old down in the pits, kind of.
That is cool.
Yeah, and he would give you the time of the day and talk to you, and you know,
Thank you, Dale.
Yeah,
He was always cool.
that's awesome. There it is, right there.
Yep. There you go.
That's a big. Yeah, no. And to have somebody to look up to like that and actually still race when you were racing, kind of.
Oh yeah, that's
obviously
always kind of neat.
Isn't that nice?
And like other people I watch too, like Luke Kennedy Sr. And I mean, I always, and me and Thomas are friends, and we race go-karts together. Sure. So he's just 2 years younger than me, so we barely ever raced against each other, really. But
Right.
we went to races, we parked next to each other.
Oh,
and
that's
stuff,
awesome.
For like nationals when we were kids at go-karts. And
That's cool.
so we were friends, kind of. And I'd like Senior, because I'd like picking his brain. My dad and him would talk a lot, because he was a motor builder, and he was, Senior was pretty smart.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
He was really into building things and
Yeah,
doing things.
yeah.
I
Right.
mean, he was an innovator kind of dude.
That's awesome.
And we might see Thomas coming back here soon.
Talked to him at the end of the season last year. It
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
like
I
he's
ran
gonna-
into him once
Is he-
too, and
I
it
haven't-
sounds like
I haven't talked to him for like
yeah. And then I
he
also
was there watching you guys. So
yeah, and then you know how the rumor mill goes. I actually talked to somebody else who was part of the rumor mill, and yeah, I think everything we have been talking about behind the scenes might come to fruition. We'll see this year. So, sponsors that have been with you, you want to name any?
Oh, I mean, well, Atrex has been on my car for a long time, and then you know, Red Pepper was always good to me when they were on the car and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a while since they were on, but they helped me out for my first like
Sure.
10 years.
Oh
of
yeah,
racing.
yeah. You always look for the red pepper car.
Yeah, so, and that was always good. They were good to me and stuff. I worked there in high school, and they were good people. So
Oh, okay, okay.
Awesome.
And like you mentioned too, with the sponsorship, then there comes obligation.
A little bit.
You know, I used to wrench on an A-mod, and we ran in Goodrich or Greenbush every week, and it's the same thing. We were winning races, and people were asking to sponsor the guy, and he would turn them down because he goes, "I don't know if I'll be here next week. I don't want to be obligated. I don't know." He was probably right, because we blew up a motor, and here you go on a Saturday morning. We're taking the motor out of his work pickup, and we're throwing it into an A-mod and going racing and coming home and
Back in the day when
pulling
you
the
could do
motor
that.
out. Yeah, back in the day when you could do that. That's
nowadays
absolutely right.
Yeah.
That's true.
I suppose we should probably let these guys go, and
Sure.
you got to go back to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to tile.
Yeah, well,
I got a
in the
DOT
middle of
physical
it.
today.
Oh,
that's
really?
Yeah.
So you mean you get to pee in a cup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm literally trying to hold it in right now.
I should have gave you a couple of beers.
about up to here.
Oh, I bet.
Had
I bet.
Sunkiss probably put me over the top.
Well, you know what I get to go home to?
What?
A house with a furnace that's not working.
Well,
Uh-oh.
I'd rather not do that.
Yeah, my guy
Especially on a
can't make
cold
it
day.
till tonight. So
Yeah.
So we got the gas fireplace going in the basement.
Oh, sure.
I'm going to be stopping and picking up, since all my firewood's completely covered with ice. So
No.
I'll stop and pick up a couple of bundles of firewood. And
There you go.
holy, I need more. My wife just texted, I need more wood. You can take that however you want. Let's do one of these here. There we go. All right. This was fun, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
This was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing you again this race season.
Yes.
Looking forward to seeing your kid too. I'd really like to see the 305 thing. I think it's a great class. I think it's a great way to get guys ready to come up here and run with the big boys like you guys are.
I love it.
Yeah, and you, man, take care.
Thank you.
Good seeing you again.
Yeah, you betcha.
By the way, next week, NLRA driver the number 14, Greg Moore, going to be in the studio. How about that?
All right.
Yeah, he's all keyed up. One of our big sponsors here is a sponsor on his race car, and he'd asked if we could get him on. So, of course, we would oblige to do something like that. Greg Moore in the studio next week.
Thanks, John. Thanks, everybody.
All right, thank you, and thank you to Jordan Graham. We got time for one more. If you do, just hold on. I'll be right with you, all right? Want to give a shout-out to Rumor Sports Bar and Casino for bringing you Dirty Thursday. Man, BT, Jake, Scotty, the whole crew over there. You know what? If you want to go watch UND sports or go to a concert, that's the place to go because it's wall-to-wall TV, so you can watch the sports, or you can take a bus to the sporting event, or you could go there, get all primed up, take a bus to a concert. It's awesome. You can bet on the horses, play bingo, try your luck with charitable gaming. Great lunch and dinner specials. They got the $7 express lunch, room for parties, Monday DJ trivia night. What a great place. Open every day, 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. In fact, today's $7 sandwich inside. Go get yourself some grub, all right? Like I mentioned, next week, Greg Moore, driver of the number 14 NLRA late model car, going to be here. Tonight, Fork Sports Highway Show at 6:30. FCS, FBS, all that stuff and more. They're going to be talking about it. Make sure you tune in. I will catch you tomorrow morning at 9. Remember now to like, share, tag, and follow us, all right? Hit that notification bell on your smartphone. Your phone rings every time we're going on the air. Pretty cool. Doug Kaufman says, can't wait for race season. Let's go, number 99. We agree with you. Billy Schletter, thanks for watching, everybody. Hey, the Grand Cities are grand. Grand Forks' best source, giving them an identity again.